Hi guys, welcome to the Lux Conversations with Olad. I'm really excited to be here again this month. The first episode, I mentioned about how we're in the month of love, and I wanted to talk on love. Right, so this is my second episode this month on love, and this episode is going to be about how love is being expressed in relationships that we find ourselves in. Could be romantic relationships, friendships, family. But my main focus in this episode is going to be romantic relationships. I might get into the other types of relationships as I continue, but my main focus is really romantic relationships and how we express love, how we receive love, and just trying to really understand the whole thing. The way I'm going to be doing that is talking about love languages. I feel like a lot of people are kind of held on to love languages, at least the 5 ones that were published in the book by Gary Chapman. A lot of people have held on to that as and that these are the 5 ways you can understand how somebody receives love. I'm first going to establish what love is, because once you establish what love is, it kind of just guides your approach to it. And I'm going to explain that in a bit. And now my favorite definition of what love is from the author of love himself, the person who is love himself, and that's God. We have here, and it says that love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up. Love never loses faith. It is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. So from this definition, or from this verse in the Bible, really, you can kind of understand that love is not about butterflies. Cancel it, remove that notion. And I'm saying this because I've been in these boats myself. Growing up, I had all of these fantasies because of the things that I was exposed to. If one is not careful, you can find yourself reading all sorts of interesting things. When you're reading to enjoy or for pleasure, it creates a world in your mind. So all of those things are very hard to remove from your head. You're reading a romantic novel, and there's this description of how when the two leads or main characters, the first time they saw, they looked at each other. The other one looked at this. The man looked at the woman looked at the man, and it was as if his heart dropped, or our stomach started to rumble because things were flying in the stomach. I'm like, bro, I used to love it. Don't even get me wrong. Even till now, it's just sweet to have that old idea. Definitely not love at first sight, because as simple as love can be, it's actually also not simple. Because it is not just about what you receive, it's not just about what you feel, it's commitment. Love is commitment, love is intentional. And this is not even to sound cliche, it's just the truth. That's really what it is. Because if the Bible tells us that love is patient and kind, it takes an intentionality to be patient and kind. If it says that love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude, it takes an intentionality to not be jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It's not what will come naturally to you. Because when you think of the notion of love at first sight, it sounds very natural. Like once you see the person that is your own, there will just be this natural, like you don't need to even do any kind of thing. Everything just works out, and then we live happily ever after. That's just fantasy. And it's good to fantasize in your head, but in real life, you have to face the reality of stuff, because people are different. People receive love differently. People understand love differently. So you might like someone, and the way that you think that is how to give love might not necessarily be how they know how to feel loved. So that's a conundrum, and you need to get over that quickly, just especially if it's something that you want to work. You then begin to, you have to realize and then look for ways to just meet in the middle ground. Love is compromise, not in a bad way, right? And not in a foolish way, especially when it's not permanent yet. That's what I'm going to say. If it's not permanent yet, it's not permanent. If it's not marriage, it's not permanent. We can always choose to want to work on stuff and just do better for the other person. Anyways, that's a very interesting preamble that I've given, and I don't want this episode to be too long, so I'm just going to brush over it and just get you thinking a bit. Hopefully you do. So when we talk about love languages, we have 5. The 5 that we have from the book that was written by Dr. Gary Chapman that I mentioned earlier. We have acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts. Now, the whole idea behind love languages is that people love and people receive love differently, which is true, just like I mentioned earlier. And when you get into a relationship with someone, or you find yourself in a relationship with someone, it just kind of makes sense. Let's remove love languages from this equation. Even without love languages, it just kind of makes sense to want to know what makes person happy. At least for me, because I think that love is service. I don't think that love is not just going to just seamless. Of course, it can be seamless, which is what is good. You don't need toxic drama around you, right? But I also think that a level of work goes into being intentional with someone that you love. And I remember, like I said, my focus is on romantic relationships, but I feel this even goes for every other kind of relationship, whether friendships or your family, whatever kind of relationship, depending on the level of that relationship, the intimacy of that relationship. So I think that the reason why a lot of people accept this whole idea or notion of love languages is because it just gives a structure. It gives us 5 things to say, these are the things to look out for in a relationship, or these are the things to help you understand. Does this person like affirming words? Does this person like to receive gifts? Does this person like physical touch? When it comes to love, it's service. For example, you're in a relationship and all your focus is on it's not speaking my love language. I love to receive gifts. It's not giving me a gift. Have you really thought about how he loves to receive, or rather how he loves to be loved? Have you thought about it? Because it's not really, it's about you. You're involved in it, but it's not all about you. Especially at the beginning, right? At the beginning, there has to be that work put into it. Before we even start talking about the subject of love language, there are some non-negotiable things that must have been established, right? And I feel like those are the things that really matter. I think that when you've crossed the non-negotiables to know that, okay, your faith aligns, your values align, your visions align, your mindsets, the journey that you're probably trying to go on with your life, all of those things align. And you know this person will be good for you, we'll be good for each other. But when all of those things are sorted, and then you can see that you guys obviously like each other, you're attracted to each other. That's important. So the subject of love languages is supposed to make the relationship better. It's supposed to make the love sweeter, right? Because now you're doing something to me that makes me feel loved, right? You're doing something that makes me just see your intentionality behind the love that you say that you have for me. Or me myself, I'm doing something for my partner that shows the intentionality behind the love that I have for him. Now, like I was saying, that's why when you're talking about love languages and you're trying to analyze it, I feel the first thing to focus on is for you yourself, right? To understand, okay, do you understand your partner's love language? How have you been speaking it? You guys can even have a conversation about it. That's I like, one thing about me is I'm going to have conversations. I'm going to ask you questions. And most times it's not even like an interview, it just comes out. I can be inquisitive, so I'm just probably asking random questions. I'm just trying to figure out how you tick, what makes you tick, and all of that, right? And in conversations like that, it helps you to just know what that person likes, what that person doesn't like, and if the person is intentional about you too, you should go, both ways. Love is compromise, right? So in cases where, for example, my top priority love language is words of affirmation, I like somebody using words on me and all of that. And as God did not have it, maybe this is an assumption. Now the person that I'm with doesn't really like, or it might be a man of little words, right? And that's okay, because it can be worked on if that person is intentional, if you've gotten the basics, this person understands what love is all about. It can be worked on. Oh, you don't know how to speak, you work on it. Go and do research. Be intentional about it. And so that's why you have to give grace to that person to say, okay, this is how he is. I can see that he's attempting to get better because of me. And even you don't know how, for example, the person loves to receive gifts, but I don't know how to give gifts. My husband doesn't even like, I won't say that gifts is like his major love language or anything like that. Or at least I know that when I want to get gifts or something for him, I just try to be as intentional as possible in the way that I've seen him do to me. Because the truth is, even if it's not his love language, if I give him something, he's going to love it, he's going to be happy, right? And that matters to me. So, I've had to work on it to say, I try not to just get random things. I'm paying attention to hear conversations about how maybe some things that I need, if I can afford it, because please, just a girl. But yeah, I feel like that's intentionality really, or the person doesn't necessarily have to talk about it. If you spend enough time with the person and you guys talk a lot, you probably just figure out this thing will make this person's life better. Or if someone that their love language is acts of service, you know that if you do this little way, it doesn't have to be something so big. If you do this little thing, or it will go a long way in making that person's life better, and that person just in a better mental space. Please, those kind of things are things that you work on with time, especially if it doesn't come naturally to. Maybe that's not how you know how to express love. And I find yourself in a situation that your partner prefers to receive love that way. You have to work on it. I feel like the popular notion now of love language is the way we speak about it and make it seem, or shift to the extreme side of being selfish. So love language it requires balance, like the whole idea, the whole notion. It has to be balance. It has to be balance to say that, okay, the reason why I'm interested in this thing is just so that our relationship can be sweet, not because you want to be loved a certain way, and if you're not loved a certain way, it means that relationship is no. My own opinion on that is love gets better. The acts of love that we give each other as partners, I think it gets better with time. People grow, and that's the thing. And that's why I mentioned, non-negotiable. Is person someone that is willing to learn? And have you seen it? Is person consistent? Like, okay, you've seen him maybe do some other things, like that it doesn't probably have to do with you, but you've just seen him like in other aspects of his life. How he was willing to learn, was willing to unlearn, was willing to grow, he was consistent. So it just makes sense that kind of person would be easy, and person actually values you. It will be easy for that person to want to, just get better, work on themselves, just so that people can make a middle work. So, love is compromise. People grow in love. And I think that's what makes the whole thing sweet to me. Of course, there are people that will meet their tailor-made perfect spec from heaven. It's very possible. I'm not disputing that. But I also think that the process of growing in love just makes the whole thing sweet, where you can reflect on the past and be like, oh, we've grown. Remember when we were like this, and look at how we are now. Yeah, we've grown, we're still growing. I think that's one thing that I really cherish about my relationship, right? Because I can see the growth we can see the growth. We know where we were. So like things that people might not even know. We know how we were, like maybe say emotionally when we first met and when we're still friends and talking. And we know how we are now, right? And again, because you guys have spent time to just understand each other, you also understand yourselves more, and so it just helps to make everything much more beautiful. So as great as love languages are, I don't think that they are the standard for a perfect relationship. Someone can be speaking your love languages and be a walking red flag. I believe that 100%. Because, for example, someone can be giving words of affirmation because you like it, and their words and their actions do not align. So what's the point? I don't see the point. So we need to focus on the things that matter. We need to focus on what matters when it comes to being in a relationship with someone, because the idea of romantic love, someone you want to spend the rest of your life with, what are the things that matter? Like I already said earlier, your values aligning, your visions, your goals and aspirations, and because I feel like those are the things. And being friends, that matters a lot. You have to be friends. You have to actually like that person, so that on the days where butterflies are not butterflying, you will not run away, because you be things sometimes. You just be wondering like, wait, did they close my eyes when, I don't know, maybe there are people with perfect relationships, that they used to, like, you don't, your partner doesn't do anything that just annoys you or maybe offends you, and then you're like, I don't understand, how did we get here? Or maybe it's just my own temperament, but then, friendship will hold you put together. Of course, God as well. That's very important. That's the number one, because without God, so really, I think that love is sweet with the right mindset. When you don't have a mindset of being selfish, you just have a mindset to grow, to make the other person happy. People, like, both of you are trying to outlove each other. This one is doing this one because this one will be happy. So like that's what makes it sweet. So please, let's be loving like soft boys and girls going forward. No need to be doing all those good nonsense. It's 2025. We don't need all of that. Like, we're old. We're now old, so we have to be serious. But in case you're not old, you will get old. So it's better you start getting serious now and just being intentional with subject of love, how you express it and how you receive it. I think that will just be the end of this episode. It was actually quite interesting to me. I hope that it also resonated with you, really. And thank you for listening up to this point. Thank you for clicking listen or play. I really appreciate it. Please do well to share. I would appreciate it. Please share. And I would even love to hear your comments about the episode. Maybe if you have questions or your own experiences, just sharing gives me joy. So you can drop your comments on, if you're listening on Spotify, you can drop your comments. If you're listening on YouTube Music, you can also drop your comments. And Apple Podcasts, I'm not sure you can drop comments on podcast. If you can, please drop, or you can just send me a DM on Instagram. There's an Instagram page for Lux Conversations now, so you can always just send me a DM and I would respond. Thank you so much, and till the next episode, I would see you on the next episode of Lux Conversations. Till then, be good and bye.